Hi, this is Sanjay Gangal from EDA Café. I'm here with Nick Nee, Director of Product Marketing, AI, and Software at Xilinx. Hello, Nick.
Hello, Sanjay. Thanks for having me here.
Well, thank you so much for joining us. I understand you are driving the software to create chips at Xilinx. What are some of the biggest challenges you are seeing in EDA today?
Thank you for asking, Sanjay. So today in the EDA industry, one of the biggest challenges is the chips getting bigger and bigger. This is true for FPGAs as well as ASICs, where recent trend of AI and 5G is really pushing the designers to make the chip more dense and more capable because of all the workloads that demands a lot more processing. And even if you look at the FPGAs from Xilinx, it's been growing by about 38% CAGR in terms of number of transistors over the last 10 years. So this is great news for developers to do something innovative, but it comes with a challenge of longer iteration time, longer compile time, design time, etc. And also the quality of results from the EDA needs a breakthrough. Today, most of the EDA optimizations in the 1 to 3% range in terms of improvements, but now we need 10% or even more big breakthrough, which requires the EDA to think something differently in terms of algorithm.
Yeah, and what are the key innovations Xilinx is driving to solve these EDA challenges?
Well, like the name says, we're applying machine learning to the EDA. And in terms of EDA heuristics, it's been really relying on these algorithms for the last couple of decades to improve the quality of results. But now we're finding machine learning such a great fit to process the different data that we've been accumulating for the last couple of decades and apply this into a heuristic to further improve the quality of results, but also reducing the number of iterations for the designers.
Okay, and can you tell us about your Vivado machine learning editions and some of the key benefits it delivers for the EDA design teams?
Of course. So there are two key benefits we're bringing to Vivado ML. One is applying machine learning optimization to the existing EDA tools. And what this brings you is average of 10% quality of result gain, and with up to 50% in some designs. And also we're significantly reducing the number of iterations people have to do to close the timing and get to the QOR thanks to machine learning predictions. Another benefit we're bringing is using something called hierarchical compilation for the modules. Because the chip's getting bigger and bigger, if you continue to design monolithically for a bigger chip, your complexity is just growing exponentially. So the key is to break that into small pieces. And we're actually applying and introducing a lot of different features to allow and enable developers to design in the smaller modules from the beginning during the IP integration all the way to implementation and the deployment. And this actually brings you an average of 5x compile time reduction.
Yeah, and what are some of the examples of the machine learning-based optimizations?
Great question. And in fact, we are applying multiple different techniques into this tool in this version, and we have a plan to apply for a whole lot more in the coming releases. But one great example is called the intelligent design run. This is something we're actually discussing in detail. It's think of it as an automatic timing closure tool. So if advanced users trying to close the timing on the FPGA design for something very large and trying to hit the very high frequency, often they get challenges in closing the timing. Now this tool, what it does is you throw in that design that's not meeting the timing, and then you'll run through multiple iterations automatically, applying 3 different machine learning techniques. One's called congestion estimation, one's called delay estimation, and one is the strategy predictor. So by using 3 different machine learning models, we'll be converging on your timing much quickly, often 5 to 10x faster. And also the whole experience is a one push button where machine learning will do all these iterations automatically, whereas traditionally people had to do manual runs and try different trial and errors and experiment.
And does the Vivado machine learning also include new team-based collaborative design features?
Well, clear, you know better than I do. Absolutely, yes. This is actually very interesting feature we've been requested, customers been requesting for a long time. Because when it comes to a very complex FPGA design, you're often working with a big team, right? It could be in the hundreds of people. And then what we see is many of our customers also have their end customers where they need different variants and revisions of these products. So, the teams are constantly challenged with the revision controls and team-based, partition designs. So by us creating something called block container, this will actually allow designers to completely separate into different modules, develop their own IP subsystem, verify them, and merge them together and keep the revisions. And this has significantly boosted the productivity for the design team.
And what are your customers saying about the benefits of Vivado machine learning editions?
Thank you. So we've actually received a number of testimonials from our customers, and there are many more, but these are the three examples I'd like to share. One is National Instrument. We've been working closely together, and they had this very advanced design, using full of our advanced chips, and also trying to hit the very high frequency timing closure. And they were actually struggling with timing closure for quite a few months. And by using the intelligent design run, the example I gave for the machine learning tools, they were able to close the timing very quickly in weeks. So this actually, made them very satisfied with the timing closure aspects of the machine learning. Another example is KeySet. So they use a block design container. They again have a huge design team working with multiple end customers. They have to create different variants of the designs. So being able to partition their IP graphical design into multiple pieces gave them a huge productivity boost for their big teams. And then the final example I'd like to give is Abaco. They use something called abstract shell, where we allow them to partition into the modules and implement them in a hierarchical way. They really enjoy the compile time reduction, but what they really enjoy also was secure handoff. So this is another feature we introduced so that a customer can provide to their end customer only a region of FPGA that they want to expose, and they hide all the details, intellectual property details outside of that box. And this was a big game changer for them because they have a lot of intellectual property they want to protect.
And can you explain the difference between the standard and enterprise Vivado machine learning editions?
That's a great question. So as we're using this opportunity, Vivado ML rebrand, to further simplify the editions. So for those of you familiar with Vivado today, we have 3 editions: Webpack, which is free, Design Edition, and the System Edition. And in fact, with this Vivado ML, we're not increasing or decreasing the price. So price stays the same. So the free edition Webpack becomes this free, standard edition, right? It has the exact same support in terms of device, which is a subset of what the Xilinx provides in terms of FPGA chips. And then today's Design Edition becomes the Enterprise Edition, which has all the device support. And we're actually removing the System Edition, and in place, we're adding the add-on for the Xilinx and the MATLAB support, which was a key delta. So, so the key difference is, the Standard Edition is free and only has a subset of device support, and then the Enterprise has all the support for the device.
And when is Vivado ML available?
Today. So today it's available, and I really encourage you to click on the link and go check out on the website. We have a whole refresh website with all the value propositions, the white papers, different documentations, and the most important, there's a download button right there. So you can actually try it today. Okay,
that's pretty awesome. And it okay if I ask a couple of personal questions, Nick?
Of course. Surprising.
So Nick, what do you do for fun outside work, or what is your personal passion?
Well, so I before I moved to Silicon Valley, I used to be lived in Canada, and back then I had a music band of my own, and we used to play once a month in a jazz bar. And music was my big passion, and it still is today. Now I have 3 little kids, so I'm a dedicated musician for my kids. But yeah, music's definitely one thing that I play guitar, play a lot of different instruments. I love to play sports, basketball, volleyball. I used to play before the pandemic, after work, go like a little league, play with, friends and teams. And of course, I'm waiting for that to come back. It's been installed for a year and a half now. So yeah, sports, music, and all sorts of outdoor activities I love.
Yeah. Well, what type of music do you play?
I try to fuse it, fuse up jazz and pop a little bit and try to make some new sound. But yeah, I like all sorts of music. I listen to all sorts and try to add my own spin to it. So.
Okay. Can you also tell us something about yourself that most people at Xilinx don't know about you?
Ooh, I would have said that, I've So when the pandemic hit, like I mentioned, I have 3 little kids. They were literally 1 year, 2 year, and 5 year old. So it was a bit of a disaster, when we got into lockdown, and we've actually started building up a little daycare in our backyard. And building, pretty much using every space we have to, build something that kids can occupy themselves. So it literally turned into a little daycare for ourselves. So yeah, that's something we kind of reinvented ourselves for the pandemic, I guess.
Oh, that's pretty nice. Well, thank you so much, Nick, for taking time to record this interview. Have a great day and stay safe.
Thank you. You too. My pleasure.
Okay. There is Sanjay Gangal from EDA Café.